Hey everybody, it's David Sirota. So there's an interesting story about one of Donald Trump's biggest financial backers, one of the big backers of the Breitbart machine, Robert Mercer. He's from Renaissance Technologies, a big hedge fund and investment firm. Mercer has been spending a huge amount of money on conservative causes, $22+ million in 2016 and beyond, that he has spent on conservative politics, basically boosting the Trump conservative movement, the Republican Party and the like. Also, he's been linked to Breitbart. Mercer, at the same time that he's been putting a huge amount of money into politics, his firm has faced a question from the IRS about a tax scheme. There's a question about whether the company has to pay a higher tax rate on some of its income and earnings. And the case in front of the IRS could be worth up to $6.8 billion for Renaissance. Again, that's Robert Mercer's firm. So the money that Mercer has been putting into politics has come at a time when Mercer's firm has huge business before the IRS. Okay, now keep that in mind. Now remember that Donald Trump has put in place an IRS commissioner who basically comes from another firm, Ernst & Young, that has been in trouble for and has had to pay a Justice Department sanction, upwards of $100 million, for helping individuals devise schemes to avoid taxes. Okay, so let's put it back together again. Robert Mercer from Renaissance, suddenly putting a huge amount of money into politics, $22+ million. Big booster of the Trump, basically the large Trump machine, the conservative machine. At the same time that Mercer's firm has a very, very huge case before the IRS, potentially worth $6.8 billion to Renaissance, depending on how the IRS rules. Then Trump puts in place an IRS commissioner, an acting IRS commissioner from Ernst & Young that has gotten in trouble before for helping create abusive tax shelter schemes. Is there a direct connection there? It's hard to know. Does Robert Mercer have a financial interest, and does his firm have a financial interest in the decisions that the Trump administration makes when it comes to tax policy? It sure seems like that. And let's be clear, the IRS commissioner at the center of this was linked to the firm that was at the center of questions about tax avoidance. Now, he got a vote of 26-0 in his confirmation at Treasury. He was moved up to the IRS commissioner job after getting confirmed at Treasury. David Cowder, he's going to be the acting IRS commissioner. Now, here's the interesting point. We reported at International Business Times, the Intercept has previously reported that during his confirmation hearings, Cowder said he, quote, should have been more active in uncovering those tax avoidance schemes. He was included in email chains at Ernst & Young regarding tax avoidance efforts. Now, it's not clear what his position is on the big Renaissance case. And you'll hear an argument, if it ever comes up, that Cowder will say basically, and it's the argument that you've heard all the time when it comes to the revolving door, that basically somebody from a firm that has devised tax avoidance schemes will, in theory, know how to prevent tax avoidance schemes. It's sort of the fox guarding the henhouse rationale. But it's important to watch this particular case with Robert Mercer and Renaissance and Trump's appointee to the IRS to really see if there is any potential connection. You're probably not going to see a direct smoking gun quid pro quo, but it's important to note that Robert Mercer is not just an ideological donor. This is not just a donor who necessarily believes in conservative ideology. This is a donor whose firm, a huge financial firm, has a vested financial interest in the specific policies that will come out of the Trump administration's IRS.